What's up? My name is Cody, or the Cody. Either way, you can find me on YouTube. I host the Cody's MMA Uncensored, not the best show in the world. It only gets like something around 50 views a day, maybe less than that. I also do a show called Random Cody, also on YouTube. Haven't done it in a while, but for those of you who are watching this and are curious about Random Cody, I'm still working on a lot of stuff, but I'm still not quite ready to bring that back yet. Anyway, the reason I'm doing this video is, I'm going to talk about Big Brother Season 13. And, okay, I was going to start doing, like, this recap show after this season. I wanted to start, just start getting my opinion out there, because when I write about an opinion, not many people seem to pay attention, listen, or care. So, I just thought I would give the video blog a shot, and if nothing works, it's whatever. What can you do? So, but anyway, the reason I'm, gonna do one in the middle of the season, it's not really a recap show, it's more of a Big Brother 13 rant. Because I'm having a big problem with this season, and it's really just getting under my skin to where I just can't handle it anymore, and I just want to say something. I just want to get it all off my chest and then post it online, let people hate it, let people love it, let people laugh at it, let people make fun of it. I don't give a shit anymore. I've never done a Big Brother recap show before for the simple reason that, yeah, I was kind of a pussy. I was afraid people would make fun of me. People would call me fat or hairy, or, one person even made fun of my home. You see the wooden panel behind me. So, yeah, so I was a little afraid of that. But, I don't care anymore. I'm just going to let it go. Okay, so, alright. First, let me tell you a little bit something. Okay. This season has just, yeah, I don't have to give a recap of the season. Whoever's watching it knows what's going on. It's basically a more in-tune version of Survivor's Fan versus Favorites, except it was duos, and and the newbies suck, and then you have the veterans winning everything and taking each other out. Okay. Alright, so, we're at the turning point, we're at a turning point in the game to where it's going to get to a point where people are going to really, really start to fight it out, because they are, after this week, I believe, let's see, there's Jeff, there's Jordan, Rachel, Shelly, Kalia, Portia, and Adam. There's going to be 7, and Danielle. Sorry. Maybe I'm counting my roosters a little too fast there. For all you spoiler people, yeah, Jeff won the veto, used it, now Danielle's on the block. So if there's 8 people, there'll be 7 people after this week. So, okay, now, it's getting to the point where you're going to have to start making moves, okay? But there's certain moves that you should make and you shouldn't make. Now, this is my problem. This is the #1 pet peeve that I cannot stand about each and every season, and it aggravates me. Now, let me tell you something. Little side note here. I've been watching Big Brother since Season 2. I didn't watch Season 1. I was 11 years old when Season 2 came out. If you could do math, you could probably figure out how old I am now. And I've wanted to play this game for a long time, and next year will be my first my first chance for eligibility, and I want to try out. I want to give it a shot. There's nothing more that I want in this world to just play the game of Big Brother, whether I leave the first week or end up winning. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to play. I want to give it a chance. I've even gone so far to studying different players' games. I've studied Will's game, Evil Dick's game, Danielle from Season 3's game. I went and studied games and just kind of, I'm still like, I'm still thinking, I'm still trying to come up with shit, and, I think the best way to play Big Brother is go in there and just wing it. Roll with the punches and see what happens, and that's what I would plan on doing. So, but, anyway, I have a lot of respect for this game, and the number one thing I hate about Big Brother, and it happens each and every year, and sometimes these certain people end up winning the game, and it's these people who decide that to be useless people don't do anything, sit around and float from one side of the power to the other side of the power, and all they do is talk, and they become this quintessential vote, and that people keep them around, just say, hey, you're on my side, so you're going to vote with me, or you're on this side, so you're going to vote with them. It's just like, they just don't matter. But then, when it starts to dwindle down, these useless fucking floating faggot fucking people decide they want to sit there and they want to make this big, huge move, and, it's not making a move by winning something or anything like that. They just want to make a move, hey, I'm going to switch to the other side, and I'm going to fuck up the game of the people who are actually playing the game just because I want to, and I just want to make this season just fucking pathetic. It is just so sad. Now, let me give you a couple examples of this before I get into what's going on in this season. Okay, Season 11, the season that Jordan won, who everyone who watches Big Brother, besides Jeff and Jordan fans, I believe, Jordan was the most undeserving winner in Big Brother history. I 100,000% agree with that. Most undeserving winner. She sat there and did nothing to the end. And the only reason I don't hate on her so much is that I just think she was just incapable of winning. I don't think it was because she lost on purpose or was useless on purpose. She didn't try to make any kind of game move. She just sat around and did whatever. That's why I wasn't that aggravated with it, but that's neither here or there. The fact is, she didn't deserve to win. But the thing about it was, okay, it started to dwindle down, and, I'm a little old, so bear with me. It was down to Jeff, Jordan, Russell, Michelle, Natalie, and Kevin. Okay, so Russell, in my opinion, when it got down to that part, hell, throughout the entire season, in my opinion, you had Russell and Jeff, I believe, were the strongest players. I believe Russell was stronger than Jeff. But Russell came off his HOH week, and he couldn't compete for the next HOH, and Jeff won the HOH. So, Jeff makes the move. Now, I hate talking about this. Jeff decides to make a move to where he kicks out Russell. But, doing that, including his girlfriend, he's leaving 4 other useless players in the game instead of leaving the strong player in the game. Now, okay, there's a pro and con to that. The pro is, you don't have to deal with, that strong person anymore. You have more of a chance at winning. But, this is where I think Jeff should have thought about. Hello, you can't win HOH next week, and your partner is Jordan. So, let's think about this for a second. Who is most likely to win HOH? Kevin or Natalie? Or Michelle? And then, now, Russell is gone, a guy you had an alliance with, and you get kicked out by a useless player. That is something I just can't stand. People make these stupid dumbass, they just sit there and sit around and do nothing, and then they fuck up the game of the players playing the game. That is what Kevin and Natalie did a couple years ago. Another good example, probably the best example, is Erica from All-Stars and Big Brother 4. All-Stars, to this day, is the biggest needle in my ass when it comes to past seasons. It's one of my favorite seasons of all time to watch until it gets to the end. Here's the thing. Erica won. Didn't even deserve to be an All-Star. She did as much on Big Brother 4 as she did in All-Stars. Nothing! She sat around, looked pretty, and let her boobs hang out, and that's why she got voted back in by a bunch of 40 males. So, they just wanted to freaking watch the live feeds and have something to jerk off to. So, Erica comes into the All-Stars undeservingly, And now she's sitting here, and then all of a sudden it starts to turn around. You have the Season 6 Alliance, and then you have Chilltown, and then you have Danielle in there trying to, you know, Chilltown, Danielle, and I think that was it. You know, they're trying to muscle out the Season 6 Alliance, so it's like a Chilltown, Danielle, and then eventually James battle versus Season 6. And here's Erica just saying in the middle, like, hey, I'm the threat, I'm not your target, so don't go after me, go after them. You know, okay, it's my boobies, you can look at them all you want. So, that's basically what happened the entire season. She sat around, didn't do nothing, let the two strong alliances fight with each other. Now, it got to the point where you found out why she was easily, getting through is because she was fucking Mike Boogie the whole time. So she basically fucks Mike Boogie to the final two. Now, then we get to a point where, now I don't know how many people have watched All Stars or remember this. Okay, so there's a point where, okay, Chilltown decide Erica cannot be trusted. She's floating through the game, so they don't want to have anything to do with her. And then, all of a sudden, and it's this fast-forward eviction, and Erica's put up on the block by Janelle. Janelle's HOH, and this is the famous competition that I believe ended up costing Dr. Will his second win in Big Brother. Was they have to get the veto symbol off a bunch of knots, a bunch of rope that's tied up in knots, and they have to get it off. Okay, Will is winning the entire time. He's yanking it, and he's pulling it off, he's trying to yank it, and he ends up breaking his thumb, trying to get this thing off. He even hits the button with the thing still on, but Big Brother's like, no, you have to pull it off. And all of a sudden, when he hits the button, he stops. He thinks he's won. He thinks it's over. But, while he's stopping, Erica comes from behind and starts pulling it off. And then once Julie says, you gotta hit the button, with the veto symbol off, Erica does that as Will realizes it, and she wins the veto. Therefore, saving herself, and Chicken George goes home. Now we're in the final four. We have Erica, Chilltown, and Janelle. Erica floated through the entire game, fucked Mike Boogie to get from week to week, and then all of a sudden, when she realized she was going home, she boo-hooed, she cried, and backstabbed her so-called alliance in the ass, and said, ha ha ha, now I got Will out. And then she went on to fucking the finale to come up with all this bullshit. I was after Will the whole time. He had all these puppets protecting him, and I wanted to get past those puppets and take him out. Are you gonna vote for the guy, his Chilltown running mate, or are you gonna vote for the guy that took him out? You know, Erica was such a bunch of bullshit. She was basically a fake boobed robot that like I keep saying, fucked her way into the final two, and just was a useless fucking player, and ruined the game of the guy who should have won All-Stars in Dr. Will, and then the votes clearly showed that everyone thought about her what I did, because she only got one vote, and that's for Marcellus, and Marcellus is the most biased player in Big Brother history. So, now, what was my point in this? I've been talking about this for almost 15 minutes, I'm sorry. The point is that these useless players decide they want to be just useless, float in the middle, float from one power to another, and float on from week to week to week to week to week, and not doing a damn thing. And then when it gets to a certain point, they do something, and they try to ruin the game of the players that are actually playing, just fucking up the entire season. Because, okay, I understand you are there playing for yourself. You are there to win $500,000. there are no ways to win the game let me put that better, hold on. Sorry, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, as you can tell. There are no rules on how to play the game. You can play the game like a useless fucking player. You can play the game as, I'm just gonna, get on the donkey and ride it in this Kentucky Derby and hopefully the miracle will win. I stole that from Chicken George. So, there's no rules. I completely understand that, but you just have to understand where I'm coming from. So, you just watch the entire season and you watch all these sheep and all these big-headed people just float around and do nothing and become these votes. Like the problem with this season was I was going for two people. I pick two people every season. I go for them, make them my pick. I was going for two people who was on different sides of the coin. I was going for Danielle and I was going for Jeff. Now, more or less I was going for Jeff just because I kind of had a little problem with that. I read in interviews and stuff like that Danielle said that she carried Evil Dick to the final two, which I had a problem with because in season 8, I believe Evil Dick carried Danielle. Yes, Danielle won the vetoes when she needed to, but the problem is I think in my honest opinion, when it comes to the game of Big Brother, strategy is more important than competitions. If you strategically place yourself in a certain spot to make it to the end, and you're playing chess, and you're knocking out this person and this person, much like how Will Kirby plays the game, I think that's more important than, hey, I need to win this, and because winning competitions make you a target on your back. Now, what I just said, you might be saying, okay, then that totally just supports the whole floating through the game thing. No. There is a big, huge difference between strategically playing the game in a way to where you're not winning anything, but much like Will and much like Evil Dick, even though Evil Dick won stuff, okay, but you strategically are like, okay, this person is my target, so I'm going to talk these people into getting out that person, and then those people are going to be the targets of whoever's aligned with that person, and I'm just going to watch the fireworks. This is what a floater does. The floater doesn't strategically plan this out. They just decide that Big Brother's going to be a summer vacation for them. They sit on the couch, stuff their face, fuck around, and then mess around and just hope they, Big Brother and all these strong players hand them a $500,000 check. So there's a huge difference. You can sit here and tell me until you're blue in the face for hours on it, and I'll be willing to listen to you that floating through the game, much like a Erica, much like a Jordan, is a good strategy, and I will never buy that. It is not any type of strategy. It is just the cards that you are dealt with, and you're just a useless person. That's plain and simple. Will and Evil Dick and even Dan from season 10 understood the game, understood that, hey, they're going to strategically take out these people without having to win competitions. These floaters are not targeting anyone. They're just sitting on the middle, and then when this side wins power, they go over and they fuck with them. When this side wins power, they go over and they fuck around with them. There's a huge difference, and I don't care what any of you said. Like I said, you can tell me until you're blue in the face, I will never buy it. A former Big Brother house guest can come and sit there and tell me floating is a good strategy. Floating is a type of strategy. It's not. These people who float to the end say, oh, that's my strategy. No, it's not. You were dealt a hand, and you played it. Plain and simple. Okay. Now that rant is over with, let me get to my whole entire point that took me 20 minutes to get to. What's going on right now is that like I said, Jeff won the power veto, and Jeff put up Danielle. I'm not happy about that. I want everyone to realize that I was going for Danielle as much as I was going for Jeff. And I didn't like that Danielle was on the block, and, you know, even though, truth be told, I do believe that, you know, I didn't like the fact that she was getting too smug and too cocky about the fact that, you know, hey, I'll probably never, ever get voted out of this house because I'm just going to keep winning HOHs. She made that big mistake that irritated me, and then now, look where she's at now. So, anyway, but I still was going for Danielle. Still a big fan of the Donatos, no matter what. So, anyway, as I was saying, okay, so Jeff is HOH, Jeff won the power veto, Danielle's up. So, it looks like Danielle will pretty much walk out of the house on Thursday. And it will, and it's going to be probably, they say a double eviction, but it's probably going to be a fast-forward eviction. So Jeff is going to have to sit out the HOH. And if Danielle leaves, you have Jordan, Rachel, Shelly, and Adam competing for Team Jeff. I don't like to see these teams things because it's so stupid, but we'll just say Team Jeff and Portia and Kalia fighting for Team Danny. But that's not seeming to be the case now. Shelly, again, like Erica, like a Jordan, who has been the most pathetic floater in the history of Big Brother. And I give that the big, I mean, if I can do an all-caps rage here, like if I was texting on my phone and I pick up my phone and I'll just put on all caps, that tick. Okay. Many people have made this comparison before. I'm just going to do it again. Shelly has been trying to play the game of Ronnie. Now, it goes back to what I said, okay, how I said about Will and Evil Dick and Dan, where they're playing the strategy part of the game and not the competition. Okay, there's a difference between playing a strategy and just deciding that I'm just going to lie to everyone I talk to. There's a difference. Shelly wasn't trying to play a strategic game. She just decided I'm going to lie, but tell everyone I tell the truth all the time so people won't believe me. What? What kind of fucking sick-in-the-head strategy is that? That's no strategy. That's just thinking, oh, lying is how you win the game, so I'm going to lie to everyone so I can win the game. Shelly is a big transvestite moron. So Shelly is deciding, her useless ass is deciding she's going to try to ruin the season, much like an Erica, much like a Jordan. She's going to turn this whole house upside down and make the season even more boring than it's already been, because she's deciding, oh, what if we keep Danielle? Okay, I would like that, but here's the problem. Danielle I would be 90% sure if Shelly's stupid ass goes along with this plan and votes to keep Danielle, and Danielle stays, Danielle will probably 90% sure win that HOH. 90% sure she'll put up Jeff and Rachel. 90% sure she will win the veto, and 90% sure Jeff will walk out the door. So, and then you have Shelly and Kalia and okay. I'm so angry about this that I'm losing track of. Okay, I forgot to mention something. She has a plan B, basically. Okay, so if Shelly cannot come through with a plan to keep Danielle, she's gonna vote to keep Kalia and Shelly and Portia, and they are hoping Adam will have the 4-person newbie alliance try to take out Rachel, Jeff, and Jordan. Okay. A very, very, very small part respects the fact that Shelly realizes that now's the time to start playing the game. I have a little respect for that. But there's a bigger part of me that is saying, if you would have done this from the fucking beginning, then I guarantee you maybe Keith would still be there. Cassie would still be there, Dominic would still be there. You would have this New Me Alliance, and y'all all could have just won competitions, stop being useless fuckers, and then y'all could have kicked all the veterans out the door. You could have kicked Jeff out the door, Jordan out the door, Danielle out the door, Brendan out the door, Rachel out the door, and then it could have been y'all's game. I would have had so much respect for that. That is how you play Big Brother. You team up and you fuck up people best you can. You don't fucking float all the way through the game, and then to the end of the game, you have Jeff and Jordan, who has saved your ass a million times, who is helping you, who is doing the work to get all the people out of the house, so you and Adam and Jeff and Jordan can have a Final Four and may the best team win, and then all of a sudden start to turn it around and start to fuck them up the ass so you can continue to float through the game. So you fuck over Jeff and Jeff leaves, and all of a sudden they think Kalia is behind it, or Portia is behind it, or they're more weary of Adam than Shelly, and then they start attacking people, and here's Shelly. I'm just gonna sit here with this fucking evil toothy, like, smoke about 200 times a day, like, but I'll shoot straight, dog. I'll shoot straight. Walk like a bebop, like that stupid smile on her face, and just watch and just make the season so fucking horrible, and then watch everyone take each other out, and then we got this skinny, toothpick, man-looking thing sitting in the final two chair, probably, that wins the game, and then for 2 straight seasons, we have 2 worthless people win the game. And it's just like, I'm getting really, really sick and I love Big Brother. I love it to death. I'm not obsessed with it or anything like that. I just would love to play the game. Not for the money, but for the experience and the challenge. Because, like I said, I've been watching the show since I was 11 years old, and I have a lot of respect for it. And just lately, these last few seasons, it just seems like people who don't do anything win the season. And it's sad. It is just sad. I just wish an evil Dick, or a Will, or a Dan, or even a June will pop out in one of these seasons and just tear the house apart, It just, or even a James, even though James was more of a competitor than a strategist, but he did have I'm talking about James from season 6 in All-Stars, he did kind of have the strategy, but it just wasn't a very good strategy. See, I always say in season 6, the crucial point that screwed James out of the game was when he decided to swear in the Holy Bible to Yvette that he's going to take out Rachel and Howie, and excuse the dogs, and then all of a sudden he changes his mind, so Yvette tells her group, and April spills the beans to Kaser spills the bean to his group, and Howie puts him up. I always say that if James really wanted to pull that card, because Yvette obviously believed him, he should have been like, okay, let's see what happens with the veto first, which will have said when the veto end up taking him off. If they don't win the veto, then say, hey, I'll take out Howie and Rachel. Then, he has that promise there, he gets kept in the house, and then if you win HOH, his alliance still thinks that they're with him, that he's with them, so they don't think they're a betrayal, and Yvette is keeping the secret to herself, so you have Yvette keeping the secret to herself, and you have his sovereign alliance, so he's in a good spot, because then the friendship ain't going to want to get rid of him, the sovereign obviously won't get rid of him, and he just can either win HOH and take out the friendship, and he's exposed, but at least Maggie's out the fucking door, Or he could sit back and just win vetoes and all that bullshit, you know. Like I said, I'm not thinking clearly. I wanted to explain that a little more, but anyway. My point being is that I wish a James or a June or an Evil Dick or a Will or a Dan would just come out in one of these seasons, because you're not seeing it. It's just not happening anymore. It's like the strategy is out of the game. You have the competitors against the floaters, and the floaters always somehow win. Because, let me tell you something, in Big Brother, and it will always happen, every dog has their day. They will eventually win something. No matter when it is, they'll win it. Jordan won a veto in HOH in her season. Chicken George won a veto in an HOH in his season. Erica won a veto in an HOH. You know, it will always happen eventually. So eventually, all these strong competitors against all these floaters, it will get down to the end because the competitors are taking out each other, and the floaters are sitting there watching them take out each other, and then they'll win something, and they'll take out another competitor, and there's just nothing but floaters left. All I'm saying is that Shelly is going to fucking win this season, and you are going to have, in the Final Four, if Jordan or Rachel does not win HOH, no matter what, if Danielle stays or not, you are going to have, in the Final Four, the uselessness of Shelly, the uselessness of Kalia, the uselessness of Portia, and the uselessness of Adam, and you will have all the veterans kicked out, sitting each other, looking at each other like dumb fucks in the jury house, saying, what the fuck did we just do? We should have kicked out all the newbies. Danielle should have never turned her back on the Alliance, and Evil Dick says she should have done it later. No, she shouldn't have done it at all. Never. You should have kicked out all the useless fucks and then battled it out with the strong competitors, because, hey, in the end of that wins, in the end, you didn't get screwed over by some useless piece of shit. You know, my biggest problem in life is that to many people my logic doesn't make sense. But you just have to understand to a certain extent that it's just, I hate to sit here at home and watch this kind of season play out. Because it's like, okay, can any of you tell me if Shelly, Adam, Kalia, or Portia win the game that they'll deserve it? That they'll be a deserving winner? You can't tell me that. You can't tell me either of them would deserve to win. You just can't. Could you look at me like, okay, here is a prime example. Okay, Evil Dick, I would say, is, sorry, Evil Dick, the second best player in Big Brother history, right behind Dr. Will. Okay, could you imagine in Season 8, someone like Zach somehow winning in the final HOH, and he's in the final 2, and he wins Big Brother instead of Evil Dick? Let me go one better. Could you imagine someone like Amber? Amber. Yeah, we all know her. Could you imagine her winning an HOH at one point and getting Evil Dick out? And then her somehow winning the season? Could you imagine that? That is what's going on right now. The same scenario. You have Shelly as the Amber, and you have Adam as the Zach. And you have, Dick is not going to like this comparison, but just help me out. You have Jeff as Evil Dick, and you have Rachel as the Danielle, because Jordan doesn't win anything. So, and then you have the Zach and the Amber about to take out the Dick and the Danielle, and then they're just going to coast for the rest of the game, and they're going to be like, oh, no one needs to win HOH, we've already won, yeah! If this season turns out like that, I probably won't watch next season if I don't get in, because, of course, I'm going to keep trying to get in. I'm going to open casting calls and sending videos and all that shit. But, seriously, I do not want this season to go like that. There is only part of me that's speaking out of bias, but there is a bigger part of me that is speaking out of, probably for some fans out there, that we don't want to see these useless newbies win the game. We don't want to see these useless newbies decide to float around for weeks and then screw over the people that are playing the game. So, I'm just angry, because I don't have the live feeds. I read about the live feeds, from the spoiler websites. And when I saw that Shelly was trying this, it was just, it's like a kick in the balls to fans everywhere to try and just, it's like, to me, it's like, think of it as an Olympic 100-meter dash, If any of you watch the Olympics, probably the fastest guy in the world, Usain Bolt. Okay. Imagine Usain Bolt. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to put this. Okay. Imagine it's okay, because I don't understand if everyone knows what I'm talking about. But, okay, alright, okay. Imagine that how in the Olympics you have to earn your spot in the gold medal run. Okay, so you're running in I think 1 or 2 races, I believe 2 races before you get into the gold medal spot. Now, think of it like this. The top 3 runners advance from each qualifier each time. Imagine a guy coming in 3rd each and every time. Okay? He barely makes it to the gold medal run. Okay? It starts, and he is just right there next to Usain Bolt, and he trips Usain Bolt, and no one sees it, and he crosses the finish line and he wins. That's the same thing. You have Jeff and Rachel, I'm not going to say anything about Jordan, Jordan ain't doing anything either, winning the race, and Danielle too, running towards the finish line, and then you have the 3rd place Shelly tripping him at the end. Here's a better, that was a horrible analogy. I'm sorry. Here's a better analogy. Okay. For those of you who watch the NFL, one thing I hate about, and it happens every few seasons, is that there's a team that has this certain type of schedule where they seem to face, 75% of the teams that they face are weak teams. So they build up their record, they get to, let's say, a 10-6 record. And no, I'm not talking about the Buccaneers, the Buccaneers are an awesome team, Super Bowl all the way, and yeah, Evil Dick New Year Tex. I'm sorry, Mark Sanchez is a homo, and Rex Ryan is, the Pillsbury Doughboy of New York. So, that's what I was saying. Sorry, I had to take that jab. But anyway, they get a 10-6, and all 6 of their losses are from the better teams, and all 10 of their wins are from the teams that just have an under 500 record, and they make it into the playoffs. It's the same thing. It's like no one is doing anything for the entire season, and then it gets to where they see the finish line is ahead, and they trip, or they trip the real players at the end, and then we're stuck with a bunch of useless bitches. And we're sitting there watching the rest of the team like, I can't believe this season went like this. Like, who in the hell would I even go for? I hate Adam. I hate Shelly. I hate Kalia. Well, I guess I would go for Portia, but I hate Portia too, because Portia did the whole jumping ship thing, and Kalia and Danielle bought it, so she ended up being able to be on the side of the power, which I hated that. She was welcomed into the power, and, yeah, changed sides. So, I hate all 4 of them. It's like, this season would be horrible if they made it to the Final 4. I would rather, I've talked about with my friends and my family who all also watch Big Brother, I say I hate Jordan because she won her season the way she did. That is the reason I don't like Jordan. But I would much rather Jordan win this season than one of the newbies. The reason being because Jordan has had to sweat it out, has had to worry, has been put up, has to worry about being evicted. These newbies have been sitting around and no one sees them as targets, so they haven't had to sweat shit. Maybe other than Adam, because he's been put up 3 times. But it's... I'm just going to end it right there. If Shelly somehow pulls this off and Jeff, Jordan, and Rachel end up walking out the door and then we have that for a final 2, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking post another thing and just fucking start screaming at the damn webcam and post it for the world to see just for me to embarrass myself, because that is how much I would just hate the season. It's just a sucky season if it turns out that way. I was hoping eventually Jeff and Jordan and Danielle and Rachel, even though I hate Rachel too, most annoying person in Big Brother history, I was hoping that eventually they would see what these newbies are fucking doing and how useless they are and just say, hey, let's get rid of these fucking people, you know? Let's kick these people out and then let us fight for it because we deserve it, you know? But that didn't happen. Because Danielle turned on Jeff. Jeff never forgot it, and so hopefully, well, I only say hopefully because if Danielle stays, that means Jeff is surely gone after all the work he did. And the one thing I hate is that you do so much, you win a veto, you win an HOH, to put a certain plan in motion to get rid of a certain person, and votes screw it up. Not someone winning the veto or someone winning a competition screws it up. Votes screw it up. These people decide, hey, let's fuck with Jeff. Let's vote for this person to stay, you know? I can tell you this. Danielle will win the game if she does not go home. Because I know for a fact Danielle is not that stupid. I hope she is not that stupid to where hopefully if Shelby pulls off this plan and they keep her, Danielle will see what Shelly and Adam and Kalia and Portia is trying to pull off. Trying to keep Danny, because Danny will most likely win all the competitions that she can and take out Jeff, Jordan, and Rachel, and then you have then it's 4 against 1. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just, you gotta think of it, you know, either way, even if Danielle stays, and if she decides to go after Jeff, which she would, she's totally screwed. Because these newbies are finally banding together, the bitches that they are, the faggots that they are, and they're gonna fuck up the veterans game because no one is seeing through it. They are, maybe I should take back everything I've said, because no one is seeing through this deception that they know they can't beat Danielle, they can't beat Rachel, and they definitely can't beat Jeff. And they're just to the point to where, you know, no one is seeing that. No one is seeing these useless fucking people trying to ruin your game, trying to kick you out the door by you help kicking their threats out the door, and then they kick you out the door. Because the thing about it is that if the newbies decide to stick together, they will have the votes. If Danielle gets rid of Jeff, they will have the votes. If Danielle and Jordan are sitting up on the nomination chair, hypothetically, after Jeff is gone, Danielle goes home anyway. And it's like, is there much difference between leaving 1 week or other week if you don't win the game? Not really. So, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. For all of you who have watched this, thank you for watching. I apologize if I've said anything disparaging or something that was offensive, but like I said, I just have a lot of love for this game, and I just hate the way people from the last few seasons have been playing it. And it's like if every every season goes like this, if it ends up being the Final Four movies, will you want to keep watching Big Brother? Would you want to watch people who come into the house to play the game get kicked out by the people who decided to sit around and have a summer vacation? I'm just saying. That is my point. But like I said, thank you for watching, and yeah, let's hope that Adam kind of stays loyal to Jeff and Jordan, and I'm sorry, as a Danielle fan, I hate to say it, but let's hope Danielle goes home, and let's hope Jordan or Rachel wins HOH, and, you know, I would like to see them send Shelly out the door next, but they'll probably send Kalia out the door if she wouldn't win veto, and if she didn't win veto, then Portia would be out the door, so... I also have to say this one thing real fast, is that as annoying as she is, as much as the world, including myself, hates her, Rachel is a smart player, because she has been the one that has been very weary of Shelly from the very beginning. She has been very weary of Shelly. So has Danielle, for that matter. They have been seeing that Shelly is a snake in the grass. The snakes of all snakes. And I am hoping by Thursday, Adam will open his mouth and tell Jeff and Jordan and Rachel what's going on, or Rachel will somehow convince Jeff and Jordan that Shelly is a snake. Because Jeff and Jordan need to open their eyes and stop looking at this 2-bit popcorn fart mother that's saying that she's going to help them get to the final 3. It's not like that, man. And, you know, as much as I hate Rachel, I have to put all my eggs in Rachel's basket when it comes to that HOH, because Jordan isn't going to win it. So this is going to be a very intense week in the Big Brother house, and will the 2 strongest players left in the game really leave back-to-back? Will Danielle leave and then Jeff? We'll see. Alright, I'm the Cody. If you like mixed martial arts, on this very same channel, you can go down and watch the Cody's MMA Uncensored. I interact with fans. I have the Cody's MMA question of the week. I talk about MMA. And I haven't posted one in a while, but if you want to go to www.youtube.com/RampageCody, RAMPAGE Cody, you can check out my random Cody videos. I do random shit, gay shit all the time, you know. I dance and lip sync Poker Face and an Adam Lambert song. I did a puppet show. I peed on YouTube. Well, you can't see my wiener or nothing, but you could see me peeing, basically. So you can go check that out. And if I get positive feedback, you know, people have been wanting a list of, you know, top moments in Big Brother history. Maybe if people like the video, maybe I'll do, you know, a top 10 players list along with the top 5 worst winners and memorable moments and all that stuff, and I'll just give my insight about that. So, look, based on what happens with this. So, my name's the Cody, and like I said, hope Big Brother doesn't end the way I think it's gonna end, and let's just keep playing. Peace!